What is going on, guys? Chris here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at some of the LetsCubit branded lubricant. I was sent 5 different weights from the owner of the store. We have weights 1 to 5 and you can buy all of them at LetsCubit.com. It's to my understanding that the lowest weight has the lowest viscosity and that makes the cube faster. Whereas the highest weight, which is weight 5, makes the cube a little bit slower and more gummy for that smoother feel. As you guys can see, we have 5 different 3x3s over here, all of which have actually never been lubricated, and I'm going to be testing out the 5 different weights on each of these puzzles. This video is also going to act as a form of tutorial. I'm going to be disassembling this Moyu Aolong version 2 and showing you guys exactly how I set up a 3x3 using lubricant. Alright guys, so as you can see, I've completely disassembled the puzzle, including down to the core, and you need to do this if you want to lubricate it effectively. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to want to do is take your washer and put it rough side facing up inside of the center and just kind of move it around until it gets in there. Then you're going to take your lubricant and you're just going to apply a tiny little bit on top of the washer down there. And this is just going to stop the spring from grinding against it. It's just really handy. It stops that springy sound whenever you're trying to solve, just like that. You really don't need that much at all, just a tiny little bit will last a long time. I also find it really useful to just apply a tiny little bit of lubricant to the bottom of the head of the screw. And again, that just stops the springy sound and makes it a little bit easier for the center pieces to turn around one another. Once you've done that, you are just going to pop your screw back into the center through the washer and then you're done. Once you've finished that, you're just going to want to screw the center back onto the core using a little screwdriver, and just do it a little bit to begin with because you're not too sure what tensions you're going to want yet. So just get it on there a little bit so it's not going to fall off. Then you're going to want to repeat that for the next 5 centers. Okay, so once you've assembled your core, you just want to double check that you have consistent tensions on all 6 faces. It's pretty hard to eyeball it, but if you just pull the centers apart, you can look at how much screw is projecting from the core. If you make sure they're the same length on each side, you should have pretty good tensions and you can change them later with much more ease. The next step is to, of course, assemble the 3x3, but before you do that, I find it really useful to just wipe down each of the pieces to just get rid of any of the factory lube they might have put on or any dirt or grime that you might have on the pieces. So once you're ready to assemble the 3x3, you are just going to want to drop a little bit of lubricant underneath the center piece. You basically just want to keep an eye out for any contact points that you might have on the 3x3. You just want nice fluid movement and you'll be able to work in the lubricant really easily. With regard to the actual pieces, I find that just putting lubricant in each little dip or crevice in the piece is also really useful. It's just where the contact points are and you'll work in the lubricant a lot easier and it will reach all of the pieces respectively. With the corner, again, it's exactly the same story. Just put it where you get the most contact with other pieces. So just in the little edges, around the corners of the stalk as well. You aren't going to want to do this with every piece though, because you might over lubricate it. Just do it on a select few. It will work its way in once you start turning the puzzle. When it comes to the final piece, I just add a tiny bit more lubricant on the 2 corner stalks that you can see before you put in the final edge piece. You might want to wipe down the cube a little bit because it is likely that you might get lubricant on the stickers. It's not that big a deal though. Okay, and then you just gently work in the lubricant. It will feel really quite gummy to begin with, but once you've done a few solves and just moved it around a little bit, it will start to feel a lot faster, and I can already tell right off the bat. Alright guys, so as you just saw, we have lubricated and set up the Moyu Aolong version 2 with the LetsCubit weight 4 lubricant, and I have to say this has made a huge difference. The puzzle turns insane already. So what we're going to do now is we're going to lubricate the remaining 4 3x3s with the 4 weights that are left. So we're going to use the weight 1 on the Guoguan Yu Xiao, we're going to use the weight 2 on the Kung Fu Hing Hong, we're going to use the weight 3 on the stickerless Diane Lun Hoi, and then of course the last one, weight 5, on the Kishi Thunderclap. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing, set them up. It's going to take a rather long time, so I won't do it on camera, but we're going to do some solves and we're going to do a little commentary and see how the lubricants perform. So starting with the weight 1 lubricant, we're using the Guoguan Yuxiao, and it's taken an already pretty quick cube and just giving it that little push to make it that much faster. As you can see, I have a little bit of difficulty with control. I seem to overshoot a little bit, and that is unfortunately going to happen with weight 1, but on the whole it's a very fast and very impressive 3x3. I definitely think the lubricant has helped it. Okay, so next up we have the weight 2 lubricant. We are using the Kung Fu King Hong here, and again it's made a cube that's already pretty fast, a little bit faster, but not quite as fast as the weight 1. There's still a little bit of control in there, and it's actually made for quite a fast solve. It's definitely a very impressive lubricant. Okay, so onto the weight 3, we're using the Diane Lun Hoi stickless cube here, and this is actually my favourite lubricant, I think. It just makes the cube very balanced. It has a lot of speed, but it's also very controllable. Might not be world-class speed because it has slowed down a bit, become a little bit gummy, but it's definitely made the sensation of turning a lot nicer. Okay, onto the weight 4, we're using the Moyu Aolong version 2, and this cube turns amazing now. It had never been lubricated before, and of course we did a complete setup of the puzzle. It turns very well. It's very fast as well, considering it still has that very controllable nature to it though. Very nice puzzle now. Finally, we move on to the weight 5. We use the Kishi Thunderclap 3x3, and this was actually a very impressive solve for me. It was a very fast cube to begin with, and the weight 5 actually slowed it down the perfect amount to make it a very enjoyable and controllable solve. Really was quite a nice solve. Alright guys, so there you have it, the LetsCubit lubrication showcase. I've gone through all 5 weights, and I have to admit, I think weight 3 has to be my favourite. I really enjoy the kind of balance between speed and control. But again, you can buy all of them from LetsCubit.com. Thank you, Josh, the owner, for sending them to me. It's been a pleasure working out how all these lubricants work and stuff, and hopefully you guys now understand the weights a little bit better as well. So yeah, go check out LetsCubit.com. They have loads more stuff, not just the lubricant. And then of course, leave a like on this video if you've enjoyed. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your favorite lubricant weight. And then of course, subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have an awesome day.